Hello everyone, my name is Madeline and I want to present you two new features on Studio Web that will help us with the versioning of our solutions. The first feature will be the version control, and I want to mention something before starting with the version control feature, is that this feature is present on local projects. Local projects is a fairly new feature on Studio Web that allow us to create the workflows and solutions on our local machine. Here, for example, we can see the projects in my Finder and also in my Git client of choice that it's Git Kraken here. So that's being said, let's continue with the version control feature. Have you seen before? I made a pull request here on GitHub. My colleague made a review and told me that if the location is not provided, if we try to run a debug, the the workflow is failing at the output of the HTTP request. And I remember I handled already this edge case. So let's open the version control panel. Here we can see the currently checked out branch. Clicking here will allow us to create new branch and see all the branches we have. Here we have the Git actions like commit and push, our current changes, and here we have the commit history. Clicking on a commit will open the changes on that specific commit, and clicking on a file will allow us to see all the changes made on that file on that specific commit. So right now, by the name of this commit, I remember this was the one where I handled the situation when the location is not defined. We use Bucharest. So let's reset my local branch to this commit. Now the solution will reload with that specific state on that time. So let's try and debug now. Perfect. So I see the solution worked on that specific time. So debug was added later. So what I will do now, I will check out the remote branch. So I will pull our latest version of the solution, and I will check the next commit to see what I added to the code to break actually the HTTP request. I'm looking for some changes in the HTTP request. Here we go. I see here I added a fallback for the input location, adding Bucharest, but I already see that I missed some parentheses. So let's try and get to the HTTP request and fix it. Maybe let's ask autopilot. Perfect. Let's save and run a debug to see if it was fixed. Perfect. So this was the issue. Now that we found the solution for the bug, we can commit a fix up. Let's commit and push. And how we can see the notification that the changes were pushed successfully, and also we can see the our commit here in the commit history. Also, if we go here in the GitHub, we can see our commit. It's was just added. Now that the workflow is actually functional, let's merge this pull request. I also have an action that will run on when a branch is merged into the main branch. This workflow, this pipeline will actually deploy this workflow into Orchestrator. So this will take a few minutes, but in between, let me present the next feature we have for today that will be the change history. The change history will be present this time on cloud projects, so not on local projects. This feature will allow us to create snapshots. What is a snapshot? Is basically the state of our workflow at that specific moment. So if we want to save our workflow at a specific moment, we just press this button and create a new snapshot. Another way to create snapshot, and this is an automatic way actually, is when we are publishing. When we publish a version of our workflow, it will automatically create a snapshot of the state of the application. So what a snapshot allow us to do is, for example, clicking on a snapshot will allow us to see the workflow at a specific moment. For example, here we are sending 2 mails instead of 1, both if it's raining or not. Here we're the start of the solution when we just had the HTTP request, and this is our last snapshots. How you can see right now, we are in read-only mode because we are just watching the snapshot. But let's say, for example, we like this version more, and now we want to start editing from this state. We can do it by clicking the right button and restore the entire solution to that specific state. This dialog, it's asking us if we want to save the current version of our application in a snapshot, but we don't need that for now, so let's restore without saving. Perfect. How you can see right now, we are on the current version. We are not anymore on read-only mode, and we can start adding whatever logic we want to our workflow from that specific state. And that's pretty much it also for this feature. So right now, let's go back to our actions to see if they completed. Yes, they completed pretty fast. So let's go on Orchestrator. We are looking for a specific version here. Let me check. Okay, so we are looking for version 1.0.6. Let's go on Orchestrator and refresh my page. Perfect. So we can see the 1.0.6 version was just deployed on Orchestrator. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you for your attention. Have a good day.